So I thought I'd do this video like this to change the mood of this topic because it's time to get serious for a moment. I've been having a lot of fun with you guys, but I think I should be serious at some point. So I hope this creates the right mood. Because, this topic is exhausting to think about. And one thing I'm good at, one of my careers is solving problems. Very good at that. I became very good at that. You'd be surprised how much money you can make solving problems for other people. My sister would joke and say, I'm better at solving other people's problems than I am my own. Well, that's my gift, Nicole. I mean, nobody can help me, unfortunately, because my problems are so complex. But anyway, so this is in reference to another video, and it's about, what does society want from men? What does society, they say, I don't know what society wants from me. Why more and more men, whatever. Okay. So I'm going to let you guys in on a little bit of secret. Actually, I'm going to tell you 2 secrets. Keep them a secret. First is that I am SYSBM all the way through. If you don't know what that is, then you don't know. Don't bother to look it up. Second is I am also IPMOR. Probably the last one left. The last IPMOR. I can make a whole bunch of movies like that. The last IPMOR. And if you don't know what that is, don't bother to look it up. So, if you're not prepared for this, turn it off now. If you're not prepared for what I'm going to say, turn it off now. I kid you not. That's the trigger warning. That's the disclaimer. I'm too lazy to edit something cool in, so just imagine it flashing on the screen, trigger warning. The third thing I want to add to it is I'm really considering taking this more seriously and becoming the first African-American man to be red pill. I'm really considering becoming your red pill big brother. The only problem with that is I would have to carry around professional audio equipment and lights and buy a new MacBook. And when I travel, I got to carry this stuff with me. Maybe there's a better way to do it. I got to research that. But I'm thinking about doing it. I'm thinking about becoming the first black red pill big brother because that's what we need. We need red pillness for African American men. African American men need red pillness because we're asking a lot of questions that are obvious, that are like, you don't need to ask a question. We know the answer. But how do we solve the problem? We know what the problems are. How do we solve them? And I'm going to tell you how we solve them at the end of this video. I'm going to keep this one super short. Now, there are 2 books that I recommend you read if you're an African-American man. Because I have to be honest with you. I don't know if it's my geography, the state that I've been in for the last 12 years. I'm not seeing nobody else disassociated from society. I mean, Caucasian men, Asian men, and I've been all through Latin America. I'm not seeing these men dislocated from society. They know exactly what society wants from them, and they know how to deliver it. Or they're given the resources and support they need to deliver it. I find it's only African American men who don't understand where we're at. And I like to use baseball analogies a lot because baseball has the most rules. And you can win a game if you know all the rules in baseball without having to have the best team, right? Because nobody knows all the rules. But if you know all the rules in baseball, you can beat the other team just off of that. That's a fact. So the 2 books you should read as an African-American man. The first one is Death of a Salesman. And then there's my personal favorite, Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. And the thing about those 2 books, and then if you want to learn about humility, you can read The Good Earth. Now, all of these books will come to the same conclusion. except for the good earth. The good earth would teach you about humility. It would teach you about being clever and witty and having humility, finding appreciation and being grateful for everything. The flaws, the good, the bad, the villains, the evilness, the jealous, everything in your life is perfect. Okay? So maybe this is what it is, right? Maybe this is perfect because men forget one rule about being a man. You're not supposed to grow old and die. It's the only rule about being a man. That's the rule. Men who grow old and die were often seen as cowards because they never took no chance in life. They never took no risk in life. There's actually a song where they say that. It's a song called St. Crispus Day. And the men who didn't go to battle would never measure up to the men who have been in battle, you know, and either been defeated or prevailed, but it doesn't matter because you took risks, you took chances. This is what defines being a man. Taking risks, taking chances, okay? That's it. That's like the 10th rule, I think, along the lines of being a man. Don't grow old and die. Now for African American men, because everything is not, I can't think of the word, but it's not, what I mean is like, we all not in the same thing. We all not in the same reality. And actually, I think that they're lying a little bit about Caucasian men's plight, Asian men's plight. I know Latino men are doing good. Latino men got it good. They got it so good. South America, they got it so good. I'm talking about Brazil, Colombia, all those countries, to me, seem to have it so good. And from what I hear, DR too, they have it so good. Mexico, I know they have it so good. These are healthy social societies. Now, African American men, the problem for us is we don't have a healthy social society. As African American men, we don't have our own country. And so this is basically a game of countries. And I'll talk about that some other time. But we don't have our own country. So there's that big part right there. You need your own country. Your own place where you call the shots, where men who look like you call the shots and exploit materials in your interest and make you wealthy. That's the next rule of being a man. You have to be pursuing wealth or acquiring wealth or achieving wealth. You have to get wealthy. And the fact that we are developed as an African American society, we're developed to start over and over again. We're talking about generational wealth, 500 years, 1,000 years, 2,000, 3,000 years. I actually predict 5,000 years deep into the game. Maybe longer than that. Maybe 1,000. Maybe, no, not a millennial, but what comes after 5,000? But, I mean, like, I'm talking deep. I'm talking about men who figured this shit out and have been carrying on the wealth in their culture forever, like literally forever, right? And we are African Americans. We just not talking about this shit and acting on it in 2000. You know, there's another book you can read. I just give out knowledge. Because in order to understand the problem, you have to have the knowledge first, right? I give out another book. I'm gonna have to put it in the description, but I think it was an essay maybe, but it was about how they said that getting out of poverty requires 20 years of everything going seemingly right. You can check out Antonio Moore. He's a really good channel to follow about this. 20 years. It takes 20 years to get out of poverty. So technically, if we started our journey out of poverty in 1980, and we know how that went, by 2000, No black person should be in poverty. Technically, no black person should be without a home, without a college degree, without anything. If we took that long to fight the Jim Crow off and everything else and all that other stuff, and we went 20 years with everything going right, we should all be a bet out of poverty. But we know this isn't true either. And that's what I mean by we continuously are being designed to start over and over again. So, now, in my red pill thinking, as you say society, I don't know what you're talking about, because we don't have a society. We don't have a healthy one. We don't have a vibrant one. We don't have one that serves me. We don't have one that serves African American men. There's nowhere I can go and say, hey, I got this business idea. Among us, there's nowhere I can go and say, hey, I got this business idea. Invest in it. This is why you should invest in it. This is why you should give me money. And I could show you the facts. So you can debate with me if you want to. What happened on the live stream? I'll bring my books. You bring your subjectiveness, and I'll show you the facts, okay? Matter of fact, I'll even show you where recently, if you look at one of my videos, I talk about the cost of black men showing off. There's a part where I show you how collectively these ex-athletes that all got sentenced and going to prison, collectively they were estimated to be worth $348 million during the time that they played in the NBA. And they couldn't get it together and had to commit crimes to support the lifestyle that they became accustomed to. But they were worth $348 million. This is just 8 guys. 8 guys, not even including the extras. This is just 8 guys. And then you look at VC funds like Y Combinator and stuff like that, and they're like maybe, what was it? I think several billion. So 348 million is not much far behind $1 billion. So we have the capabilities, we have the access to one of the problems that I'm going to talk about at the end of this, but we have the solution to solve one of the problems, but I can't do anything because the society, we don't have a society that no one's going to listen to me, no one's going to support me. Fuck it, I dropped out of college, don't listen to me. There's 100 black economists you can go listen to right now. The Black Tax. Listen to him. Invest in him then. If you want to invest in black men who's shown to have educational achievements, there's a lot of them out there with PhDs. Invest in them. Give them the money. We're not doing that. See, that's what I mean by taking risk, taking chances, right? We don't do that. And we all end up in the same place. So I would say, what I want to say, if I was being emotional about it, I would say that they just want us to die. They just want us to die. That's what they want. When you say men, you can't generalize men because all men don't have the same circumstance. I live in the state of Hawaii. There are no single men here. Every man I see has a woman. I think yesterday I saw a dude had 2 women with him. They're Asian, though. He was a white dude, but you know. And all the women have men. And if it's a woman worth having, she's with someone. Nobody in this state is single. I haven't been anywhere else, but I've been here long enough to see that if they're trying to say it's a generalized thing in society, Western women, all that, they're lying. They're trying to distract us from the truth as long as they can to get an advantage. We're all not shoving the same shit. We're all not shoveling the same shit, okay? And I'm talking about, these are regular diggler guys. These are not no alphas. They ain't even beta bucks, whatever that jargon they use is. These guys are just Joe Blows. I look at them as Joe Blows. I don't see nothing extraordinary about them. They're not super duper wealthy and flashy with it. They're not super duper bodybuilder type and none of that. I don't see none of that. So I'm just saying, to me, it's a lie. It's a distraction. It's trickery. It's tomfoolery. They're trying to fool us with everybody's having the same problems African American men are facing. No, they're not. And if you don't believe me, just Google African American men and see the shit that comes back on YouTube. Google or YouTube Caucasian men and see the shit that comes back. You know, Malcolm X, when he learned the dictionary, that scene was pivotal in the movie because not only did it happen in real life, but it speaks to something that most people ain't pay attention to. Because the deceit is in objectiveness. If you're objective about it, you will see the deceit. You know, you got to get out of that subjective shit and be objective about it. So if I was thinking subjectively, I would say it's so simple. They just want us to die. That's it. They want us to die, and they're finally getting their way because that's what this is. But being objective about it, I would say what society wants to do is they want to break your will. They want to break your will to resist, okay? They need you. The game needs suckers. Quote me on that. The game needs suckers. They don't want you to leave. They don't want you to check out. They know some people are going to make a beeline for the gate and run away. But they know most of you don't have the courage to do that. You know, because you're trying to grow old with nothing. The reason why men don't grow old and die without wealth is because you have no power. You're too weak to protect yourself physically. So you have to pay for that now. And if you can't pay for that, then you're at the mercy of nothing. I think they showed how every social program benefits women and children, especially women over a certain age. There's nothing for men. I think that's Dr. Hassan Johnson. I always say his name wrong, but anyway, that's what they want from you, okay? Society wants to break your will. That's it. That's the answer. It's not more and more men checking out. More and more men think they can fix this, think they can change it. I would say, well, African-American men think they can fix it, change it, or find some type of surrogacy that I can't even tell anymore who is the cuckold. I can't tell who's the cuckold. Because if you're with the woman and you're taking care of her kid, or you're with the woman that's only allowing you access to her short term, because obviously you're not living in these countries, right? And I'll do a video about that later, because we're showing up late to these countries, right? Then if you're dealing with her short term and you leave and she goes back to her life, then I can't tell who's a cuckold, who's a cuck, and who's a cuckold. You know what I'm saying? I can't even tell anymore. So that's what they want to do. They want to break your will because the game needs suckers. It's like musical chairs. You ever play musical chairs? You go around in a circle and try to get a chair before the music stops, and it comes down to always one chair and two people. That's where African American are. That's where African American men are at. Except we don't have a chair, right? It's just two of us walking around in a circle, and the music hasn't stopped, and we're waiting for the music to stop, but we're so focused on the distraction, which is the music stopping, that we haven't realized, wait a minute, there's no chair. There's no winner. There's no way a winner's going to be declared. So you can say you have Educated Lames and Pookie and Ray Rays battling it out, but really there's no way to declare a winner because neither one of them is going to have a chair, because they got to keep playing the game. The game is just perpetual. You know, the game needs suckers. It don't want you to check out. It doesn't. I don't see more and more men checking out. I don't see SYS. I don't see SYSBM on everything. I don't even see it more anymore. So I don't know what people are talking about. More and more men are checking out. More and more men are leaving for a couple of days or a week, which I never understood, going to a country and then coming right back here to America. And I think I have a video about that. They leaving, going wherever they're going to go, whatever country they're going to go to for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and coming right back here to America. So that's not checking out. I've tried to check out 3 times already. I've lived in Brazil for 4 months. I lived in Thailand for 2 months. I lived in Colombia for 4 months and 15 days. Now, what got me? What made me eventually leave? A lot of things, visa things, just the stress of adapting. It's hard. It's really hard to adapt. And when you go to other countries and you realize it's easier to immigrate to America, you kind of have a new respect for immigrants because you gotta realize what it's like. If it's that stressful to adapt, I can't imagine what it's like for them when they get here. You know, it's hard to adapt to other countries. It's just hard. For me, it's very hard to adapt. I have a problem with it. I get better at it. I'm getting better at it. I'm staying longer and longer, but I never leave the country. I never leave America thinking I'm going to come back in a week. I go and I try to stay as long as I can. And then it gets to me and, the isolation. And I really just relegate them to being scouting missions. I go, I say, okay, now when I go back the second time, I know what to do. Like, I've been to Brazil twice. So if I go back again, I got it on lock. If I go back to Colombia, I got it on lock. I go back to Thailand, I need more time in Thailand, but, I can figure Thailand out. But you got to have the time to figure it out. And by the time we showing up, most black men are showing up, they're like in their 60s, maybe late 50s, their 60s, showing up like that. It's not going to work, B, because remember, if you even started traveling at all, when you start traveling, you can't start traveling right when you retire. You had to have been traveling since you were 20, going to these countries. That's how the Caucasians been doing it. These Caucasians been going to Thailand and all these other countries since they were like teenagers, consecutively, staying so many months, coming for like 10, 15 years. They've been coming to this country. Then they retire and they're able to move there. It's a slow adaptation, but also they figuring it out. Now we showing up once you retire. And I'm kind of upset. I ain't going to put this guy on blast because he deserves his retirement. I'm proud of him. My dad was in the service and retired from the same branch. And I'm proud of anybody who retires and you still look good. I wish I would have followed that and I would have been retired after my 20 years. But I damn sure wouldn't have just started thinking I'm going to show up in another country and succeed at fucking 45. That's crazy. That's crazy. I guess some people can do it, but not most people. But, we're definitely not checking out. The game needs suckers. Even right now, they're trying to keep us with this. They're trying to set a lot of people up right now with this peanut butter and jelly shit. I call them peanut butter. I call them peanut butter and jelly. I don't even want to say that blasphemous name because it's really, to me, it's a racial slur. I even feel like when they say gringos, they talking about African American men. It's a racial slur. You know what I'm saying? So it's just another racial slur. So for me, when they say passport bros, or what I call peanut butter and jelly, PBJ, it's a racial slur. Like, who invented this? And how do I get away from it? Because I'm not doing the same thing these guys are doing. You know what I mean? I go somewhere, I'm trying to renting apartments, buying cars. I'm spending a lot of money. I'm staying, I'm living, I'm out every day, living like the locals, So, to answer the question, like I said, that what does society want from us? Well, there's no society. So they don't want anything from us because we don't have a society. We don't have a society. And there's a lot of proof of that. I'll show you the proof. But I don't want to make this video 2-3 hours long. It really wouldn't even do it justice. That would be short. It would be like at least a 3-year video to show you the proof about why we don't have a society. And like I said, emotionally, I would say they just want us to die. That's it. They just want us to die. And they're succeeding. They're doing it. It's working. It's working. African American men are nearing death. In the ideological sense, right? Whatever's coming after us, all this shit they're throwing on people, this sexual identity shit is what's becoming the new race, right? So ideological black men, meaning the heterosexual, want to have children, want to be the provider, want to be the head of my household, that guy is dying. We're dying. You know, look at me. They got me. I just realized a couple of days ago, they got me. Here I am at 47. I've never been married, never had any kids, never been married. And that's after having 2 serious relationships in my life with women that could have been my wife. Well, 3 with women that could have been my wife and have my kid, right? So for me, I know I needed my finances right, and the couple tens, the 60,000, 70,000, just wasn't enough for me. You know, the 100,000 still ain't enough for me. I need to know I can have my family provided for and protected. That's gonna cost at least $3 million a year, and I'm nowhere close to that. And I have no way to really solve that problem because there's no society for me to go to. There's no African American society that's gonna give me that support that I need to make that money, you know. Unless I play basketball or football or baseball or I rap. I don't do none of those things. So they're doing it. Now, objectively, not being in my emotions, right? Seeing what's going on, they don't really want to kill you. They want to break your will. They want to keep you in the game, and they want to break your will. I don't know why they need us. I haven't really got an answer for that. The only thing I could think of is perpetual scapegoating. You know, they want to continue to scapegoat you by showing publicly that they can abuse you and do whatever they want to you, and there's no justice for you. They make themselves basically like a god, you know, like just gods. Like, I think there was a video recently, you got some immigrants who run a store beating up a black man who has nothing. Like, they're beating him with a cane because he's following the creed of America. He's taking that, which belongs to somebody else, but he got beat for it, and it's going viral, and everyone thinks it's funny. But if you take away any African American's livelihood, any African American man, if you take away his livelihood, his ability to earn a living, which they do easily, right? That's dude 12 or Jake, right? You would be just like that guy with nothing. And there's no society, nothing for you. And I just found out, like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Now they're letting non-citizens beat us up. You see where this is going? I'm gonna put this documentary up for you. It's a story about the Nazis, the war crimes, right? And I remember it so well because it is so fucked up. It's fucked what the Nazis did. And real quick, they went into this town, I think it was a Polish town. They got all the Jews out and separated them from the Poles and put all the Jews in the center and made all the Poles stand around them in a circle. And they gave the Poles bats, pieces of wood, whatever they could hold, whatever object they could hold, rocks, whatever it was. And they made the Poles at gunpoint kill the Jews with these objects, you know? And the Poles all did it because they didn't want to die, or maybe they knew that they wouldn't face justice, or whatever it was. I'm going to start doing contrasts, because I think the best way to reach you guys is do contrast, and I'm going to put a contrast video up that I did so far about the difference between Caucasian and everyone else men achievements and African American men achievements, because even our achievements are not the same, and that's a problem. So that's what I think they want with us. They want to break your will. That's it. They want to break your will. They don't want you to resist. People say we haven't won, but we haven't stopped resisting. You know what I'm saying? We the last ones on this planet to resist. The African American man. We the last ones to resist. Colin Kaepernick, Kanye West. You know, we're getting the resistance is, we're getting smaller It's not a bunch of us anymore, but it's always just one is all we need. And we're resisting. That's all you can do sometimes is resist. But yeah, that's what I think it is. They want to be gods, and we're the foundation that they step on to be a god. We've always been the foundation that they step on to be a god. Think about it. Think about the injustice they done to us. Think about the injustice the Caucasians have done to us, and nothing happened. That's like God. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they want. They want to break your will, and I don't know. I see them doing it, but it seems to me like we're so much in denial that we don't even realize we even have a will anymore, right? We're just trying to be like, why doesn't this work? I'm doing everything I can. Why doesn't this work? Oh, well, I guess I just give up and throw my hands in the air, and I don't know what else. I don't know what happens after that. So anyway, getting to the end of the video now, what is the solution? Well, the solution is our economics, okay? What are we looking like financially? We already know we're in last place behind our women. So we're in last place economically behind our women. Now, how do we fix that? How do we fix the average income for African American men? How do we fix that? But that's the solution. The solution is getting our finances in order. Why do you got to wait? If you can answer this question, why do you got to wait till you retire at 55 or 65 before you can move to another country? If you can answer that question, and that's what I'm saying, I'm kind of disappointed in this one YouTuber because that's their solution now. They kind of are selling people that they're this financial guru, but really I saw them come on and said that most of their income comes from their military pension. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? You mean your income doesn't come from your portfolio, your investment portfolio? It comes from your... So your solution as a financial consultant is to wait till I retire to move out of the country? Wait till I'm 60, 65 maybe to before I can move out the country? That's the financial advice you're going to give me? And that's interesting because nobody's following that. But for African American men, if that's the financial advice that we're being given, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Because you know why? Yeah, most pensions don't stop. He got a federal one. But most pensions stop. Most pensions get fucked up. If you don't got the right state, federal pension in your pocket, I know city is trash. So if you don't got the right federal or government, not government, or state pension in your pocket, you might be in trouble. Because those trusts, sometimes they go bankrupt all the time. And guess where the money comes from to keep them full so they can pay you for the rest of your life? The money comes from them investing in VCs. They take that money, they give it to VCs. VCs invest it in Caucasian people's company, and the company becomes big and makes a lot of money, and that's how they get the money back. The company IPO or equity, whatever the formula is, it depends. But one way or another, they get the money back, and then it's grown exponentially over the long term. 5 to 7 year growth plan, right? So we need to get our finances together so that guys can get out of here a lot more sooner than later, because these girls are in healthy societies. And I think the dude talked about it. Another guy talked about it. Rational Man, look at his YouTube channel. He was talking about how because of the internet, women have just so much more opportunities, and that's true. So you think you're going to... And they can stay in touch with crushes and the guy who took their virginity, and they can fuck him forever, and you wouldn't even know. And you think after she's had 20 years, 18 years, 20 years, whatever age she is, when you meet her after you just retired at 60, you think you stand a chance with someone that she's grown up with and she has an emotional bond with her entire life first crush, first love, first kiss, all these things, you think you have a chance? You know, that's what was supposed to be happening for you here in America if you had a healthy social society. But it didn't happen for you here in America. So, and what happened? Like I said, check out Rational Male. He's spitting some good game for a Caucasian dude. But some things do apply to all of us, I gotta admit. But he showed, but I bring this up because there's other videos going around from the DR talking about dating older DR women, dating women who are 40 years old, 45, right? And that's what I mean by I can't tell who are the cuckolds or who's the cuck. I can't tell anymore. So, because you know a 45, 40-year-old, 50-year-old woman has got kids, got grandkids. What are you talking about dating a woman that age if she don't know what she wants? There's no dating, first off. So, if she don't know what she wants, you're wasting your time. Plus, again, I go back to, and the reason why I bring this up is because he has a video that talks about this. How women's priorities change. How their goal is to get these genes, and then their goal is to get someone to take care of these genes, because the person giving them these genes ain't qualified to be a provider. So they need another guy who's got the intelligence to make the money to be a provider, right? That's what's going on here. I don't want to take care of nobody's kids, adult kids, grandkids. I don't want to help nobody out. I don't want to do none of that. I'll do that for my own family, like my niece and nephew and my children. I'm not doing that for some other guy's children. It's actually really, they getting the benefit of two males because they got their dad doing that if he's a halfway decent human being, and you're doing it to be with her, you know? And you got to think to yourself, why did he give her up? If he gave her up, something must be wrong with her. So, but anyway, the point I'm making is we got to get our finances together. And until we get our finances together, we're never going to really be able to succeed. You know, brothers should be hopping off the porch at 19, 18, 17, traveling, becoming inoculated into these societies, socializing with the girls their age, and developing those relationships parallel to the ones that they already have. You cannot meet a woman who's 20, 21, 18, who's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 30 for the first time and expect that her life is going to be an open door for you, that you're going to be welcomed right into her living room, the living room of her life. Never mind the baggage, oh my God, but just, you know what I'm saying? She has had so many men in line for her that you can't skip to the front of the line. You know what I'm saying? And you have to develop an emotional bond. And emotional bonds these days take the real ones develop over decades. So by 20, so she meets some guy at 10. By the time she's 20, that bond's like this. It don't matter if they're never going to be boyfriend or girlfriend. She got an emotional bond with that guy. You would never have that. You know, and there's no reason for her to give it to you because she knows that you can't even stay in the country that long. So even if you go over there and you're in your 20s, you can't afford to stay there that long, right? So objectively, that's what they want. They want to break our will. That's what society wants from us. Now, one option I give is our finances. We get our finances together. You know, we get our finances together and try to figure this out. But we got to get our finances together first. And I don't see that happening. So this is where we at. So that's it. That's all I got to say today. I hope the mood fits my tone. But, you know, I'll do a video about showing up too late. Because if that's the solution, then yeah, we got to have a real serious talk. All right, guys, this is Travel Wolf. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.